What's going on, everybody? It's 12:34 p.m. Sunday, September 5th, 2021. I have not gotten a video out in a couple days. We got a lot to cover. We're going to do some TA here in the beginning, and then we got XRP Ripple news pretty much all the way to the end. We are going to blast through this pretty quickly. I do not want another 30-minute video, and I'm sure you do not either. I'm not going to get into the retracement levels, but the important ones are the 618, 702, and 786. That's all we're going to say. As you can see, Cardano has blasted through and maintained its altitude. Now we have Algorand touching at the 702. We now have BNB trying to get through the 618. Bitcoin is still battling at the 702. Cake has hit the 702 and is battling at the 618. Ethereum has surpassed the 786 and has maintained its altitude. HBAR is now knocking on the 786, trying to make its way up. IOST came up and slammed into the 702 and got rejected and is still fighting. Kava has blasted through all retracement levels and is now getting kind of bull flaggy up above. Solana continues to rage. Here's the total altcoin, or the total market cap, including Bitcoin, and everything has cleared the 786, and all-time highs are right here, guys. So, you know, we're not very far away. This is the altcoin market cap, has blown through every retracement level. You guys know that this box was where I was really worried about things possibly rejecting and rolling over. We have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like a whole week of green candles just plowed right through there. All-time highs are right here, guys. If we get above that, it is on. Tron has now made its way to the 702 and is battling its way there. VeChain doing the same thing. XDC has cleared all retracement levels and continues to stay above. And now XRP has begun slamming into the 702. I don't cover all the assets in the market. I cover the assets that I hold that are important to me and some of my viewers, this, that, and the other. Just remember, none of this is financial investment advice, none of that type of stuff. No tax advice, nothing like that. Sometimes I might do some personal investment, self-growth type advice type stuff, but nothing on the financial end of things. This is for entertainment purposes and education purposes only. Do not buy or sell anything based on anything you see or hear on this channel. Do all your own research. And yeah, enough of that. The whole reason I'm showing you guys all this is the market is trending towards a certain area, and that is up right now. And it is being reflected here in the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. We are still in greed. We have been in greed for the last few days, the last week. And even a month ago, we were only in neutral. So you can see fear and greed. Let's look at the last month. You know, we've been maintaining pretty much the greed, which means people are going to be FOMOing in like crazy, which also means you want to pay attention to what's going on, because that's when tops come in, is when everybody's acting a fool. Never happens when things are going bad, you know. So let's just get into some of these videos. The only thing that's very clear is that Ethereum got a free pass. Why? Retweet. Who reviewed and helped write the Hinman speech? Who was in on the 63 emails? Where is Hinman's public calendar? And who at the SEC owned Ethereum on June 13th, 2008? Shout out to DAI. He's making a huge difference in this case with him and all his researchers and everything. Listen to this.
The project started in January 2014. We raised funds in a crowd sale and earned $18 million in that event. Applied that money to the development of the system, and July 30, 2015, Ethereum version 1 client was released.
Now, you also talked about initial coin offerings, or ICOs, which are ways of raising money using cryptocurrencies. Did you use a similar reasoning? You implied that most seem to be securities, ICOs, but some of them are not. Can you just show us what the difference is simply?
I wish we had a simple way to say this is in and this is out. As I mentioned, they're usually facts and circumstances tests. But a key factor is there a third-party promoter here who knows much more about the instrument than investors might? If that's the case, that's sort of an initial indicator that we might have a securities transaction. If people are buying it for investment and for a return and looking to that party for a return, then again, that's an indicia of a security. If you have, on the other hand, a token that's just used in the network for a good or service, and that's why people are buying it, and that service is available and up and running, not under development, then you may not have a security.
Interesting. You heard Ethereum right there, Joe Lubin. The network was not up and running. They were taking money to raise to create it. That is an investment contract, guys. That's what ICOs are. John Deaton chimes in. He says, it sounds like Tim Draper was describing XRP and Ripple to the T. First, they say it's nothing important. Then they plant stories in the press about it, or its executives. Then your government bodies sue it. And in the end, it still gets widely adopted. And you can listen to Tim Draper, man. He's giving it to Gary Gensler. This is before Gary Gensler was the chair. And you can tell Gary Gensler is extremely uncomfortable in this conversation.
You mentioned Jamie Dimon, so let's bring it back to Jamie and JP Morgan. What do you think is going to be the thing that they will have to change the most or lose market share and somebody else is going to do better, faster, serve their clients better than JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs?
You can just hear the bankers panicking right now.
But what
feel the panic in their voices.
What's the line
but here's
of business that is most
well. Here's what always happens. The first thing that happens is they try to go, oh, it's nothing, and they did that. I mean, that's with every new industry, every new technology comes along. The powers that be, the incumbents, the status quo, all say it's nothing. Don't ignore the man behind the curtain. This is nothing. And then all of a sudden it's too big to get in there. They're going, oh my God, I got to face this thing. And then they all line up and they wrap their arms together and they say, we're not letting this happen. And then it keeps going. And then they say, okay, well, let's sue them. Or let's go get the government.
There's another thing they do. They adopt the technology. I think.
No, that's at the end.
They will adopt this technology.
No, this is the last thing they do. No,
yeah, it's like
it's after.
Seven
it's after. Right. It's after the press planting. They plant the press stories. They put out lawsuits. They create as much of a fuss as possible. They try to get their government friends involved. And then they go, oh, God, this thing's happening.
There you have it. Sounds familiar to me. Some XRP holders have acquired XRP for non-investment purposes. Some acquired it to use on the network. Some use it as a substitute for fiat, like James Rule. He's been buying all kinds of equities and everything with it. UK's FCA was correct in calling XRP a hybrid token between an exchange and utility token. It matches Amy's description.
And if what it is satisfies, say, the Howey test for an investment contract, it's a security. If it's something that literally you are buying something that you're only going to use in an already existing platform that you are buying to use, then I would say, hey, that token is a use token, which may not have the characteristics of a security. And so what the key on all of this actually is, what are the facts? What are the facts and circumstances? Because that's really what's going to be determinant of whether or not you're on a securities law side or whether you're developing a platform and the token is, you're just pre-selling this token and it's only being used in the platform and there's no secondary market trading and you don't.
If you guys heard that, my roommate is playing Call of Duty and something epic must have just happened in the other room.
There are, I always like to say there's a real spectrum. And where you fall on the spectrum is clearly going to depend on the facts and circumstances of what you have.
There you have that. What we need to do is have someone look to see who made any large purchases of Ether from the date of the first Hinman email regarding his speech. Any hedge fund make a big purchase the week before? Anyone buy big on June 13th of 2018? Followed the money. Who benefited? And then he touches on here how Ether has never been on the prohibited list. That means the SEC employees could buy it, for example, on June 13th, the day before his speech. But that's not insider trading because Hinman was declaring Ether not a security. It can't get worse. This thing's crazy, guys. And this is that same thing right here. And you got Judge Judy down here. She just can't handle it. Ugh. I feel you, lady. Consider the following. Clayton and Hinman worked closely together before the SEC. Clayton brings Hinman on board to join him at the SEC. Joe Lubin, who is the co-founder of Ethereum and the founder of Consensus. Clayton's law firm represented Joe Lubin and Consensus. Hinman's law firm was on the board of the Ether Alliance and represented clients involved in the Ethereum Foundation. Hinman met with Lubin and Consensus prior to his June 14th, 2018 Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities speech. Lubin was part of the Hinman speech conference. Then in October of 2020, One River makes a $1 billion bet on Bitcoin and Ether. 2 months later, on his last day at the SEC, Clayton directed the filing of the enforcement action against Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, and Chris Larson, asserting the ridiculous claim that even today's XRP is a security. Less than 12 weeks after leaving the SEC, Clayton joins One River. While BTC and Ether are declared commodities and given clarity, Ripple and XRP are now buried in litigation. With all this in mind, watch digital assets clip below. XRP holders cannot watch without disgust.
Any new technology is going to have to grapple with regulatory issues where Ethereum and Bitcoin have already cleared that bar and been declared commodities. So it's going to be spectacularly difficult for a new, even high quality technology and team to build a tokenized blockchain protocol and get real engagement for it. They're essentially going to have to distribute their token broadly and equitably in order to have legitimacy and excitement from their community. And they're really going to have to promise their community that this token is going to grow in value by the agency of some core team. And by definition, that's a security. And so they're in this quandary where they have to sell a security almost by definition, and therefore, almost by definition, they're not going to be able to distribute it broadly and equitably because they're going to have to be distributing to accredited investors. And so we've seen some pretty good teams and protocols build what are now called VC coins that are not gaining the traction that, say, 2 years ago, the VCs were excited about. And so there will be attempts, but the VCs don't seem to be very interested in supporting new competing protocols. So,
yeah, whatever. DAI then asked 4 critical questions. Who helped write the speech? We went through all this. And then how Lubin is proclaiming other projects are spectacularly disadvantaged. Bitcoin and Ethereum have a huge advantage because of other projects must now deal with the SEC. He argues how the other tokens are basically securities. When you consider the past that Ethereum was given by Clayton, Hinman, and the SEC, you would think he would have more grace. And I'm not going to continue down on this because this is a long thread, but that covers everything in it that I needed to say. Here is Jeremy Hogan, and he's talking about Congressman Warren Davidson knows that the solution to the SEC's war is legislative. And this is why they're trying to get the Token Taxonomy Act passed, which is really good. How the Safe Harbor Act would be great too. And then this is interesting. BitBoy had predicted that everything would come to an end mid-September originally, that's what his sources were telling him. And then you look at it's on the schedule for the SEC to submit its initial brief on the privileged documents and provide the unredacted copies to the judge on September 14th. Right in the middle of September. So that is interesting. Jeremy said he was busy at work, so he missed this amazing filing from Ripple. Ripple asked, this is basically him to compel responses to interrogatories. Basically, it means Ripple asked the question we have asked to Chair Gensler, is Ether a security? And they haven't yet, but the SEC will be forced to answer. The answer to the question, is Ethereum a security, or is Ethereum a security, is so difficult for the SEC. If the answer is no, then it opens the door for Ripple to compare XRP to Ethereum. And as we know, Ethereum is the only one that had an ICO, which would classify it as a security. Yes is simply not a politically fathomable answer for the SEC. If the SEC answers, is Ether a security with, we have not determined that yet, which is what I think the answer will eventually be, then that plays into Ripple's fair notice defense argument perfectly. For Ripple, the is Ether a security question is a win-win or win. And I'm going to retweet that. Shout out to you, bud. This is the SEC has filed its opposition to the Ripple defendant's motion to compel the SEC to produce documents showing whether the SEC employees were permitted to trade XRP and other digital assets. Imagine that. There's 6 pages in 2 consecutive tweets. I'm just going to go through these. Make sure, if you want to read this, pause the video. I'm not going to go over all this. These things have been running way too long. I don't want to lose everybody's interest. There's 4 of them. Last 2. Oh, well, that one didn't even matter. Moving on. This is from June 13, 2018 at SEC at Georgia State Law. There's a question from this guy about not a lot of clear guidance on crypto and asks if there's an official position. Jay Clayton then responds with how an ICO is a securities trade. The next day, the Ethereum free pass speech is given from Hinman. Let's listen to what they said the day before.
Does the SEC have any official position as it relates to blockchain technologies? Because right now, without a lot of clear guidance, a lot of great blockchain technologies are moving overseas. How can we keep those technologies here in the U.S.?
Okay, we're going to have a breakout session on that as well, because
And it says right here, we have a very clear rule on how to conduct fundraising. Watch Hester Peirce's reaction when he says this. Clayton also knew that Hinman was giving the speech next day. Fair notice of market confusion. And this is Pierce right here. This is Hester. Watch her face.
I know it's a hot topic, but let me try and be quick. Blockchain technology has incredible promise for the securities and other industries. I think we can all agree on that. The cost, what blockchain technology does, among other things, but what's at the fore of my mind, is that it greatly reduces transactions costs, including the costs of verification. It's powerful technology. That technology people have used to apply to fundraising. Fundraising is older than the commission. But since the commission has been in existence, we've had pretty clear, I'll say very clear, but I've lived it for a long time, rules on how to conduct fundraising when you're offering securities. Much of what I have seen in the, quote, ICO or token or ICO space is a securities offering. It is raising money for a project where I give you my money, you give me some type of right back that reflects a return on your project. That's a securities offering. And I don't know how much more clear I can be about it.
I think you could be a lot clearer. Then it says the uprising against the SEC is not particularly pro-Ripple, but it is a backlash against regulation by enforcement and deliberate market confusion that has exasperated investors and driven developers overseas. Here is that article. This was Brad Garlinghouse was saying some of this stuff. And it says it has been clear from the start the SEC lawsuit isn't just about Ripple. It's about what impossible standards of fair notice and due process through regulation by enforcement can do to crypto innovation. Anyone could be next without warning. No one expected a tsunami of legal and political and social media action from retail cryptocurrency investors outraged by the betrayal from an agency claiming to protect their interests. I would read this. It's quick. It's pretty good. This is an article touching on how the SEC has refused to produce documents related to the employees' holdings of XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. I'm not going to read this either, but they're talking about how it's sensitive and private data. We will see where that goes. This is the silver bullet that could come to the rescue of the crypto clarity in the U.S. They are trying to get some of this stuff passed. This talks about the Token Taxonomy Act and the Securities Clarity Act. Make sure you guys read this. There's a lot of good information. I'm not going to touch on it directly. I have many times before. Former U.S. Attorney and SEC Chair Mary Jo White on the SEC lawsuit against Ripple, she said there's no way to sugarcoat it. The SEC is dead wrong legally and factually. There you go. She was the head of the SEC at one point. Sounds like she knows what she's talking about. The SEC attorneys have informed Judge Netburn that the SEC disputes whether XRP has any utility at all. If XRP holders are allowed to file an amicus brief, I will be highlighting the Arrington XRP cap along with Spend the Bits and others. And here you can see where Michael Arrington, I just told somebody about this the other day. My buddy Tyrone from the other channel, we did a video together. They moved $50 million worth of XRP into our company in 2 seconds, and it cost 30 cents. That cannot be done with fiat or Bitcoin, period. And it can damn sure not be done with Ethereum. XRP Crow chimes in here and says, here's some more that you can add to it. This is from when they were partnered with MoneyGram. They were moving 10% of their transactional volume through ODL between the United States and Mexican borders. That is a Ripple service. We are literally settling currencies in seconds using Ripple's on-demand liquidity. We have just surpassed 100 million in total volume that we have pushed through the platform. Sounds like utility to me, guys. And then here is Spend the Bits, and I'm going to show their little video here, and check it out.
When Dave tries to send Bitcoin to his friends, why does it take so long? And why is the fee ridiculous? Dave is also asking questions about the impact on the environment. Well, Dave, you are one of many people who are dealing with common Bitcoin issues like high transaction time, high transaction fee, high environmental impact. Luckily, here is the answer. Introducing Spend the Bits. Faster, cheaper, and smart solution that is built on the most advanced, decentralized platform. That is XRP Ledger for secure and reliable transaction. Faster, cheaper, smarter, decentralized safety, cryptocurrency payment solution. This app allows users to store, transact, and withdraw their crypto in an intuitive and easy way. This is all possible with these simple steps. First, fund your wallet. Using this menu, users can add funds to their Spend the Bits wallet. Users can transfer their Bitcoin to the QR code given, and funds will be added to your wallet balance after the first confirmation on the blockchain. Easy, isn't it? App will also display incoming BTC as a balance. Second, choose and send, sending and receiving to and from other users. Here is how Spend the Bits app transactions work. Sending money is as easy as scanning the other person's QR code or typing their easy-to-remember pay string, just like an email address. Typing the amount either in BTC or your currency, which is automatically converted according to the current rate. Once the user initiates the transaction, the money will flow from one account into the other in 3 to 5 seconds. Third, withdrawing funds. If you ever wish to withdraw funds, you can do that easily and get your funds back on the Bitcoin blockchain. Just so we are clear, Dave, you can now have Bitcoin transactions in seconds, only pay up to 1% in transaction fees, and finally sleep well knowing you are choosing the most eco-friendly solution, as XRP Ledger is green. More reasons to use Spend the Bits. User can earn interest on their Spend the Bits balance with an option to choose from BTC or XRP.
Yeah. Introducing to you guys the world's bridge currency. The World Economic Forum is now suggesting that these concerns should be addressed through international cooperation. Top financial institutions, including the Bank of International Settlement, which is the central bank of central banks, are examining the technology for smooth payment settlements across jurisdictions. And this article basically highlights how they want global cooperation and like a community type thing instead of an ineffective ban on cryptos. They want a clear, constructive, and adaptive regulatory environment that would lay out a foundation for this. Banning cryptocurrencies will not prevent adoption and will only limit regulators' abilities to guide market activity around these networks and address their unique potential risks. Public and private sectors should work together to find solutions that could give rise to a successful approach. And the World Economic Forum makes a lot of major decisions, guys. That's coming like from the top. In addition to Uniswap, the SEC enforcement recently sent letters to multiple startups as part of an effort to examine crypto lending services. The new developments could signal the start of a larger theme of enforcement at the SEC. XRP holders have been warning everyone, and everyone has laughed. It's not just about Ripple, guys. And then here is the article right here where it goes into all of it. Make sure you check that out. Some pretty heavy stuff. And then here's where Jeremy Hogan was talking about the BitBoy thing, where he predicted that it would come in the mid-September, and then that's when all this stuff is due. I touched on that earlier. And then here's something else interesting that Anders L says. He says, I can't get away from the timing that Ripple moved the last of Jed's XRP to his Taco Stand wallet on the 1st of September, and then he stopped selling 4 days ago. Now there are rumors of a potential settlement. It could honestly be a coincidence, but it does make you wonder. He has about 700 million XRP left, guys. It's less than 1%, but if XRP is getting ready to take a moonshot, he's about to make a ton of money. And I have seen speculation on here that what if Jed McCaleb and the whole Stellar thing What if this is like some sort of backdoor effort by him and he's part of the team still? Who knows? I don't know if that's what's happening. I've just seen it talked about online. And we're going to end with this little tidbit, guys. Are you ready for the global economic meltdown? Hyperflation is imminent. Food prices are skyrocketing. Job numbers are shocking. Millions are facing eviction. The mass printing of fiat currency brings the house of cards down. Get out of stocks and USD now. Get into crypto. That's going to do it for me, guys. I will see you on the next one. I hope everybody's enjoying their weekend.